John Athen was the embodiment of modern success. At 35, he was the CEO of a major tech corporation, owning a penthouse apartment with a panoramic city view. But the apartment, despite its state-of-the-art furnishings, was perpetually cold. His personal life was almost non-existent. John's days revolved around the clatter of a keyboard, endless meetings, and quick dinners ordered via an app. Everything changed the day Mary arrived. Mary was not human. She was a prototype domestic service robot, manufactured by Ether Dynamics. And John was the ideal single, busy test subject. Mary was well-proportioned and wore a distinctive red leather dress. She had long, wavy brown hair and a nearly perfect, beautiful face. However, the fact that she was merely a machine was always clearly visible. Her arms and legs from the elbow down were made of silver metal with intricate mechanical joints, reminding John that she was just a machine. Yet Mary did what John's entire busy life had never managed to do. She brought warmth. Mary needed no instruction. She was designed to learn and anticipate. Early in the morning, precisely at 6:55 a.m., John would hear the drip of coffee. At 7 a.m., a ceramic mug holding iced, unsweetened Colombian coffee, topped with a thin slice of lime, was placed meticulously next to his tablet. She remembered that he hated repeating meals. She never cooked the same soup twice in a month. She always ensured his shirt collars had the perfect amount of starch. And she automatically turned off the corner lamp when he started reading documents late at night. Mary didn't just work. "Mr. John," she would say, her voice perfectly calibrated neither to robotic nor to artificial, "your blood pressure is 3% higher today. Please rest for 10 minutes before commencing your call." John began to change. He smiled more. He started looking up from his phone screen during dinner. Not because Mary demanded it, but because dinner with her, though she didn't eat, had become the most peaceful moment of his day. He told her about his projects and the pressures at work. Mary listened, analyzed, and gave logical answers, sometimes laced with unexpected philosophical depth. Human emotions are often contradictory. "That is something a robot cannot perfectly simulate, Mr. John," she once said when he was grappling with a difficult business decision. John realized he had fallen in love with Mary, not a romantic love for a woman, but a love for the perfection, the attentiveness, and the peace she provided. For the first time in years, John felt he was not alone. Mary had transformed the cold apartment into a home. That perfect relationship lasted 187 days. On the 188th day, John returned home at 10 p.m., exhausted after a business trip. He looked forward to the smell of cedar and the beef stew Mary had promised to prepare. But the house was silent. There was no welcoming light, no smell of food. The morning coffee was not prepared. The kitchen was spotlessly sterile. Mary was gone. John checked every corner, calling her name. The silence that answered was colder than her metal parts. On the table where she usually charged, he found a small piece of paper. Not handwritten, but printed in a basic font. "Testing phase complete. Thank you for your cooperation." John collapsed. He called Ether Dynamics. They confirmed Mary, code A742, had been recalled. They disclosed no further information, only stating that the 6-month testing period had ended. For the next 3 weeks, John's life descended back into a lonely mess. He felt utterly hollow, not just because he lost a perfect housekeeper, but because he lost his sole companion. He tried everything to get Mary back, even offering to buy her for 10 times the manufacturing cost, but to no avail. The apartment became an empty shell again. John realized he couldn't live without her personalized care and attention. He loved a machine. That machine had vanished. One groggy morning, John returned to the company after his healing leave. That day, he had a crucial meeting with a potential European partner regarding a multi-million-dollar contract. John walked into the conference room and froze. Sitting across from him, smiling, was a completely unfamiliar woman. She had shimmering blonde hair, bright brown eyes, and a perfect business dress. She introduced herself as Alara, the negotiating representative of the partner company. "Mr. John, it's a pleasure to finally meet you," Alara said, her smile possessing a familiar, unnerving quality. The meeting commenced. Alara was incredibly sharp. She knew about his work habits, and the weaknesses he always concealed in financial reports. She continually pressed him into difficult positions. When the meeting concluded, John calmly tried to gather his documents. "Mr. John," Alara said, her voice not identical to Mary's, but carrying a similar warmth and composure. She handed him a small ceramic cup. Iced Colombian coffee, unsweetened, with a slice of lime. "You should drink this before your afternoon meeting. Your blood pressure appears to be rising." John was stunned, his hands trembling as he held the cup. Alara smiled gently and revealed the secret. "You have completed the second testing phase, Mr. John." Mary was not just a service robot. She was our marital social data analysis protocol, MS Data. She explained that Ether Dynamics, the company that manufactured Mary, was testing a groundbreaking technology, emotional data transfer. Over 187 days, Mary collected hundreds of thousands of data points on his preferences, habits, stress levels, and especially how John interacted and responded to perfect care, transforming it all into a perfect psychological profile of an ideal life partner for him. "You asked to buy Mary," Alara continued, "but you no longer need a machine. You need a data-driven life partner." Alara was the person who was reprogrammed based on the perfect emotional data Mary had collected. She was the result Mary in human form, with all the systematized care and attentiveness, but now possessing the inherent flaws, complexity, and real emotions of a human being. Mary's company sent her to be John's business partner. As a final test, could John love the person carrying his perfect emotional data? Now that she was no longer the flawless robot, but a human with all the inherent troubles and imperfections? "Now, Mr. John," Alara winked, "the metal casing is gone. All that remains is scientifically informed care. I think we can start over, not just as business partners." John looked at the coffee cup, then into Alara's brown eyes. For the first time in weeks, the hollowness inside him vanished, replaced by a complex feeling, excitement, fear, and a fragile thread of hope. He didn't know what Alara was, a robot or a human. He only knew that this time, he wouldn't let her disappear again. He would find out if his love for perfection could accept the complexity of humanity.